Meeting will please come to order. I would ask everyone to stand for the invocation and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Prior to our invocation, I would like for us to have a moment of silence for those who died or were maimed or were injured yesterday in Boston. Councilmember Duvall, will you give us the invocation?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Dear God in heaven, thank you so much for this great and glorious day. Please travel with those that are in pain and agony in this country today. Stand with our council lady, Sherry Weiner, as she has lost her father. Stand with our dear and wonderful friend and welcome him to heaven, Al Bodie, our wonderful, wonderful leader in our community. Please stand with the people that were injured and maimed and be with them and comfort them and from the Boston Marathon. Please help us lead in this city and to continue to be the leaders and exemplify what our community and the people that elected us do, and most of all, follow your will and your way. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Without objection, we'll suspend the calling of the roll and ask the clerk to record the names of the members present throughout the meeting. Is there a motion for the approval of the minutes of our April 2nd meeting? Have a motion and a second. Without objection, the minutes will stand approved as written. Madam Clerk, are there any messages from the mayor?
There are no messages.
Thank you. First on our agenda are elections and confirmations. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Just had a few tonight. First, for the Fire and Building Code Appeals Board, it was a reappointment of Mr. Eddie Hutton, and the committee moved to defer his nomination for one meeting, 4-0 against, and I'd like to move his deferral.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor of a one meeting deferral, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Next, on the Historic Zoning Commission, it was a reappointment of Ms. Ann Nielsen. The committee recommended her reappointment 5-0 against, and I'd like to ask for her approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Finally, for the Planning Commission, we had two reappointments of Mr. Stuart Clifton and Mr. Jim McLean. Committee recommended both of those 6-0 against. I'd like to move their approval.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Thank you.
When I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Ann Nielsen, Stuart Clifton, Jim McLean, thank you so much for your willingness to serve. Next, we have a resolution on public hearing. It is RS 2013-650, exempts Las Fiestas Cafe located at 3623 Gallatin Road from the minimum distance requirement for obtaining a beer permit. Councilmember Bennett.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public Safety approved 7-4-0 against, and I'd like to open the public hearing, please.
Please raise your hand if you're in favor. Thank you. Please raise your hand if you're in opposition. Seeing no one in opposition, does anyone in favor wish to speak? Seeing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Councilmember Bennett.
I'd like to move bill for approval, please.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next, we're on the bills on the consent agenda, the resolutions. I will read them, and then you can tell me when I finish reading if there are any that need to be pulled for consideration. The first one is RS 2013-640, accepts certain incomplete infrastructure located within Phase 1 of the River Landing subdivision. 651 approves the plan for the reappraisal and equalization of assessments in Davidson County. 652 approves a grant from the Tennessee Arts Commission to the Metro Arts Commission to provide funding for nonprofit community arts projects. 653 approves an agreement between the U.S. government and the Metro Nashville Fire Department to allow Fire Department to bill Medicare for ambulance services. 654 approves an application for a state grant to the Metro Police Department for the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. 655 approves a grant from the Tennessee Literacy Coalition to the Community Education Commission for an AmeriCorps program participant to assist in building volunteer capacity. 656 approves the state grant to the Metro Board of Health for the implementation of immunization program. 657 approves an amendment to a state grant to the Metro Action Commission to provide services to assist low-income and/or homeless individuals achieve self-sufficiency. 658 approves an amendment to a federal grant to the Board of Health for the Healthy Start Initiative. 659 approves a federal grant to the Board of Health to enhance access to community-based care for low-income individuals and families with HIV disease. 660 approves an agreement between Metro Water Services and the Metro Development and Housing Agency for stormwater improvement to the Haynes Park and Manor Place neighborhoods. 661 approves an agreement between Metro government and the U.S. Department of the Army for Phase 4 of the Flood Preparedness Study. 662 approves a joint funding agreement between the U.S. Department of the Interior, U.S. Geological Survey, and Metro Water Services for the continued operation and upgrades of water quality monitors and flood warning gauges. 663 approves a state grant to the Metro Public Works for litter education. 664 authorizes the Department of Law to compromise and settle the personal injury claims of Alicia Parker on behalf of her minor daughter, Amijah Parker, in the amount of $9,245. 667 requests the Tennessee Department of Transportation to widen Nolensville Road between Burkett Road and Old Hickory Boulevard to relieve roadway congestion, improve safety, and accommodate expected growth. 668 recognizes Keep America Beautiful, a Great America Cleanup, and designates March, April, and May 2013 as Great American Cleanup Months in Metro Nashville and Davidson County. Those are the ones on our consent agenda. Do any of those need to be pulled? Seeing none, I will need committee reports for the ones on the consent agenda. Councilmember Matthews.
Budget and Finance approved all bills on consent agenda, 12-4-0 against, except for 663, 664, and those were approved 13-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Bedney, Education.
655 and 405 both passed, 640 against.
Thank you. My apologies, that one wasn't. Councilmember Harmon.
656, 57, 58, 59 were approved, 5 in favor, 0 against by health hospitals.
Thank you. Councilmember Bennett.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public Safety approved all the bills before them, 7-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Potts.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Public Works voted to approve RS 2013-660, 661, 662, 667, and 668 at a vote of 7-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Anthony Davis.
Thank you. 665 was deferred by rule, and I'd like to move approval of the consent agenda.
Have a motion and a second. Councilmember Bedney.
I apologize, Vice Mayor. Did you read 667 as well? Was that part of the consent agenda?
Yes.
I would like to withdraw that, do a deferral, and I would like to do a small explanation, if that's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're wanting to pull this one
I want to
off?
pull it out of it and then do a deferral.
Okay, we'll come back to that one.
I apologize, Vice Mayor.
Okay, we're now on all the bills on the consent agenda except for 667, and we have a motion and a second for their approval. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We have two memorializing resolutions that were not on the consent agenda. First is BL 2013-665, establishes a residential caucus to actively address municipal issues of the resident citizens of Metro Nashville and Davidson County. Councilmember Davis.
Thought it was on the consent. I guess not. The Rules Committee deferred this by rule.
Okay. RS 2013-666 opposes the Metropolitan Development and Housing Agency's decision to charge tenants for certain utilities that previously had been included as part of the base monthly rental amount. Councilmember Gilmore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to withdraw this legislation with a brief explanation.
We have a motion and a second.
Thank you. I am pleased to announce that the committee has since following the legislation, been notified by MDHA that they have chosen not to implement this new policy. So we're excited about that. And what that would have done was charge fees to persons that live in subsidized housing that had not been paying those fees prior to it this time as it relates to utilities. Thank you.
We have a motion and a second to withdraw. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Councilman Stein, you have a late filed resolution.
Yes, Madam Vice Mayor. This is a memorializing resolution that I need to request a suspension of the rules because it's to honor, it's an event honoring Israel in the 65th birthday, and the event is on April 28, and the bill was just presented yesterday, and so it didn't meet the requirements, and I would ask the council's indulgence to pass this so it can be presented at that April 28 event.
Is there any objection? Seeing none, the resolution recognizes Israel at 65 Day in Nashville, Tennessee. Councilman Davis, do you have a committee report?
Yes. Rules voted to approve 4-0 against.
Councilman Stein?
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next, we're going back to Councilmember Bedney's RS 2013-667, requests the Tennessee Department of Transportation to widen Nolensville Road between Burkett Road and Old Hickory Boulevard to relieve roadway congestion, improve safety, and accommodate expected growth. Councilmember Bedney.
Yeah, I apologize for before.
Councilmember Potts, do you have a committee report?
Yes, I do, Vice Mayor. Public Works voted to approve 7-4-0 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Bedney.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I received notice today that TDOT had move ahead and put in the budget for the 2014 Comprehensive Multimodal Program, and so I was very happy that that's already included in the budget. So I'm going to request that we defer this legislation to alert indefinite.
One meeting or?
No, indefinite deferral.
Indefinite. We have a motion and a second for indefinite deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes.
Thank you.
We are now at bills on introduction and first reading. Are there any that need to be pulled? Councilmember Mitchell.
Yes, I'd like to pull BL 2013-423.
Thank you. Any others? Is there a motion for all other bills on introduction? Do we come back to it, though? We're coming back to a late filed and to the one that was pulled. We have a motion and a second for all other bills on first reading. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We have a late filed ordinance on first reading, amends the official street and alley acceptance and maintenance map by abandoning a portion of 28th Avenue North right-of-way. Councilmember Langster, what's the nature of the emergency?
Thank you. I'd like to ask for a suspension of the rules, and Mr. Cooper, could you explain what happened?
Yes, this legislation was emailed to us by Public Works, emailed to the council office. It was emailed in time for the filing, but it did not get printed out and, you know, all the stuff that has to go with filing it until after the deadline.
Is there any objection to a suspension of the rules? Seeing none, Councilmember Langster.
Move for approval, please.
Have a motion and a second.
Thank you.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-423, an ordinance approving an agreement between the Metropolitan Government and the State of Tennessee concerning the exchange of certain parcels of real property. Councilmember Moore.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I'm going to move for approval, but I need to have Mr. Reebling to at least explain this because basically it's just an agreement. But Mr. Reebling, could you?
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Reebling.
Councilor Moore, this is an agreement between the city and the state for a swap of land. Under the agreement, the city would receive about 28 acres on what's considered the TPS property site, which would include land we currently lease from the state for the Nashville School of the Arts. So we would get title to that, as well as additional property, some of which we would lease to the STEM charter school. And in return for that, the state would receive the old library, the old Ben West Library building, and as part of this agreement, we would agree to tear that down and make it available as a parking facility for state needs. That's the gist of it. Both sides have done appraisals, and the value of both properties are they're within a few dollars of each other.
Thank you, Mr. Reebling. Again, Vice Mayor, again, as Mr. Reebling explained, this is just an agreement between our government and the state of Tennessee, and this is on first reading, and it is going towards the committee to discuss further. So again, I move it for approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilmember Mitchell.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there's limited downtown property. You know, bottom line is, you know, they're not, as the old saying goes, they're not making any more land. This is a piece of valuable property downtown, and I think within the last few years, we've spent a significant amount of money rehabilitating this building. I don't know if that went into the appraisal, but if I could ask legal counsel, do you know how much we've spent in the last couple of budgets rehabbing this building?
I believe the last few years was just basically maintaining the building. Mr. Reebling would probably know more about what has actually been spent on it.
There's been no rehabilitation of this building since this council and the mayor's office and the legal department moved out of there some 7 years ago or so, and it's sat idle since that time. It's not been used. The only money that's been spent on that building is just basic stabilization to keep the building from deteriorating further. I don't have an exact figure for you. Obviously, I wasn't prepared to discuss this tonight because I thought it would be adopted on first reading, but happy to get that information for you, Councilman. But, you know, this has gone through all the channels. No one in Metro has a use for this building. We looked at various options, and we think this is, you know, a good transaction for the city in getting the TPS property.
Thank you. You know, it's just a continuation of we need this property in the future. This downtown property. Another parking lot is not going to do the citizens of Nashville, Tennessee any good. You know, there are some people arguing the historical value of this piece of property. But the bottom line, what it gets to, is we want to give this piece of property away so we can get more property to give away to a charter school, ladies and gentlemen. You know, our school system now is asking for a lot more money that's not been budgeted. We need to keep every piece of property we can in Davidson County, because I'm telling you, with the legislation that's coming down from Capitol Hill regarding these charter schools, you're going to need all the money you can get to be able to pay for them. And this is just another just free giveaway to a charter school that is not helping our school children in Davidson County whatsoever, and it makes no sense. You know, a piece of downtown property for a piece of property on Foster Avenue, I wouldn't say is a fair trade. You know, we have people all the time wanting property downtown, and we're going to give it away so we can put a parking lot on it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to bulldoze it and make a parking lot so we can get a piece of land on Foster Avenue to give away to somebody else. It makes no sense. It makes no fiscal sense for the citizens and taxpayers of Davidson County. I mean, what is coming down the stream, ladies and gentlemen, with these charter schools is you will have another property tax before you soon, because you can't pay for them. And what's going to be approved coming down the pike is going to require a property tax increase. You need to keep this valuable piece of property. You need all the dollars that the taxpayers of Davidson County can muster to pay for what's coming. So I advise you to think long and hard before we vote for a land swap for a piece of property out on Foster Avenue compared to a piece of downtown property. It doesn't make good financial sense.
Councilmember Holloman.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, or Madam Vice Mayor. My understanding was that there was a deed restriction on the library. I know that when the council operated out of the library, there was a small library that was maintained. Could somebody speak to that? I just think since we've begun the discussion, I would like to know the answer to that.
There's been various and sundry discussions about the potential of a deed restriction. And there are various defenses if there were some errors or somewhere down in the chain. One of the arguments is that the main purpose was to have a downtown library. We obviously have a downtown library now. I would venture to say that both the state and the city are aware that there is a potential out there, but didn't feel like it was of a magnitude that should prohibit us from going forward with this.
Okay, so it is there. I guess the question is the enforceability. Is that
yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, so, okay, that was my question. I have had it expressed to me in my district some concern about that from library folks and historic preservationists. So
okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Seeing no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. We're now at bills on second reading. First one is BL 2013-404, designates Music Valley Drive between Rudy Circle and Pennington Bend Road as the Frank Rudy Memorial Road. Councilmember Claiborne.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Matthews.
Budget and Finance approved 13-4-0 against.
Councilmember Potts.
Public Works voted to approve 7-4-0 against.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Move for approval.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-405 approves a sublease agreement between Metro Government and the STEM Preparatory Academy for the use of a portion of the Tennessee Preparatory School campus. Councilmember Moore.
Move for approval, please.
Councilmember Matthews.
Budget and Finance approved 13-4-0 against.
Councilmember Bedney.
6-4-0 against.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, Historic approved 10-0.
Councilmember Moore.
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. Councilmember Mitchell.
Yeah, do we know how much the lease is for? How many years the lease is for?
Mr. Cooper.
Yes, the lease is for 10 years with 2 additional possible 5-year extensions.
And how much are they paying for that lease?
They will be paying about $7,000 per month, which would, no, that's the rent Metro. It's $6,500 a month, and then it increases 2% a year thereafter.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. No. Motion passes. BL 2013-406 approves a lease agreement between the Metro Board of Parks and Recreation and Metro Development and Housing Agency for a portion of the bridge building. Councilmember Gilmore.
Committee reports.
Councilmember Potts.
Public Works voted to approve 7-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, Historic voted to approve 10-0.
Councilmember Gilmore.
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-407 authorizes the Director of Public Property Administration to accept the donation of 25.5 acres of property from CRLP Bellevue LLC and Colonial Properties, Inc. to be used as part of the parks system. Councilmember Todd.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports.
Councilmember Matthews.
Budget and Finance approved 13-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Allen.
Parks and Recreation.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
My
Thank
script
you.
said Allen. So.
That's fine. Thank you. Parks and Recreation approved 4 in favor and 0 against.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, Historic voted to approve 10-0.
Councilmember Todd.
I move approval.
Have a motion and a second. Councilmember Evans.
I would just like to extend my great thanks to Councilman Todd for the work that he and others, the Friends of Warner Park, did on it. This is a great addition to our park system. So thank you very much.
All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-408 amends the official street and alley acceptance and maintenance map by abandoning alley number 1800 right-of-way and easement. Councilmember Moore.
Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Potts.
Public Works voted for a 1-meeting deferral, 7-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Harrison.
Traffic and Parking voted to defer 1 meeting.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, Historic voted to defer 10-0.
Councilmember Moore.
I move to defer 1 meeting, please.
Have a motion and a second for a 1-meeting deferral. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-409 abandons approximately 1,320 feet of an 8-inch sewer main and the associated public utility easement on property located at 2014 Bernard Circle. Councilmember Allen.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Potts.
Public Works voted to approve 7-4, 0 against.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, Historic voted to approve 10-0.
Councilmember Allen.
Move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2012-292 amends the Metro Code pertaining to recording studios as an accessory use in residential districts. Councilmember Berry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Committee reports, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, Historic voted for a 1-meeting deferral, 7-4, 1 against.
Councilmember Berry.
I'm sorry. Let me correct that. 6-4, 4 against.
Thank you. Councilmember Berry.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I would like to defer this bill for 1 meeting with a brief explanation.
We have a motion and a second. Councilmember.
Thank you. I just wanted to say a brief word or two about where this bill stands. This bill went before the Planning Commission last fall, and this has kind of been a long process to get to this point because we've really wanted to address everyone's concerns. I'm really grateful to all of the individuals and the council members who've helped move this forward. by reaching out to their constituents and providing some feedback to help us tweak this bill. I'm going to defer this bill for one meeting because there was a request to do so by a council member who wanted some additional time to talk, and I'm totally happy to honor that request. So with that, I would move one meeting deferral.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion to defer passes. BL 2013-389 amends the Metro Code pertaining to animals running at large. Councilmember Bennett.
Move approval, please.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-393 changes 1.68 acres from CS to SPA zoning. Properties located at 1119 Old Hickory Boulevard and Old Hickory Boulevard unnumbered east of Larkin Springs Road to permit automobile repair and wrecker service. Councilmember Pridemore.
Thank you, Madam Vice Mayor. Committee report, please.
Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, Historic approved 10-0.
Councilmember Pridemore.
There is a substitution bill I'd like to submit.
It's in the packet, correct?
Yes, it's in the packet.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Have a motion and a second on the substitute. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the substitute, please say aye. Opposed, no. Substitute passes. Council member.
I move the bill.
We have a motion and a second on the bill as substituted. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-394 amends the Metro Code pertaining to community education uses by modifying which zoning districts community education uses are permitted. Councilmember Claiborne.
Planning, Zoning, Historic voted to approve 10-0, and I would move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Without objection, we can take 395 and 396 together. Seeing none, 395 approves a settlement agreement with Comcast One LLC and approves a new cable franchise agreement with Comcast. 396 amends the Metro Code relative to cable franchise agreements. Councilmember Matthews.
I'd like to move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-397 approves an extension of a contract between Metro Government and CCBCC Operations LLC for beverage services at various Metro facilities. Councilmember Matthews.
I'd like to move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-398 approves an internship affiliation agreement between the Davidson County Sheriff's Office and Argosy Education Group, Inc. to provide practicum and internships experience for students enrolled in the Master of Arts in Mental Health Counseling Program. Councilmember Bennett.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-399 authorizes the Director of Public Property to accept an easement for 3 parcels of property for use in the Whites Creek Greenway system. Councilmember Hunt.
Having been approved by the Planning Commission, Parks, and Planning and Zoning Committees, I move for approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-400 authorizes the granting of a permanent easement to Piedmont Natural Gas Company for property presently used as 7 Mile Park. Councilmember Harmon.
All committee reports being in, I would move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. BL 2013-401 approves the abandonment of a portion of easement rights that were previously retained by Council Ordinance 075-1262 within a portion of the former right-of-way of 53rd Avenue North property located at 5301 Illinois Avenue and to retain an existing 20-foot public sanitary sewer easement within the former right-of-way. Councilmember Baker.
Move approval.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Is there a motion to adjourn? All in favor, please say aye.